vaudeville. Hey, we got a special one for you today. Stick around for a few moments while I wait for people to show up. Let's grab that little link. There we go. I guess I could just do a simple repost of the other one. Yo, hey Blink. Nap time! Dun, 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 dun. That should hopefully give some folks an opportunity to pop on in. I gotta mark off on the calendar also. Let's see here. Yo, hey Dragovy. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of people saying that they wanted to see what my process is, so, hopefully this will be good. Let me know, by the way, if the music is a good volume. I can't actually hear what you guys are hearing, but I did realize that Jared and the music were really quiet in the last pod, so I tried to bump it for this time. But yeah, so I've got a few plans for today, which is essentially I'm going to run through the process of making one map in Roll20 from start to finish, and I'm going to show you every part of the process and what I normally do to make them look good or bad. Classical break room! Yo, let's go, Jared. I hate that you're not available on weekends, otherwise I would totally chat with you. So, I did put out a straw poll recently. Here are the results of that. It would look as though everyone wants to see a downtown street. So I've got a few things set up in order to produce that sort of thing for all of you. Turn the music down a little bit. Will I work? I just need something to focus my mind, otherwise I'm gonna go crazy. Not that you aren't worth focusing on, chat. You're very helpful. So, this is gonna be a little bit of a different one because normally I don't vocalize my process, but my plan is that I really want y'all to be able to just kind of ask whatever the hell you want to while we're doing this. So I've got a bunch of assets dragged in. This is my disjoint quarter palette. Don't worry about that. Oh, that looks wild. The Shock Jock term didn't win the poll. It was pretty close. What questions are allowed? Literally anything about the map making process. So if you've got questions on how to do it, just pop them over to me. I'll read them in chat whenever I get an opportunity. Feel free to tag me in chat so I see it for sure, but chat doesn't seem to be moving too terribly fast today, so it won't be too bad. My plan— yes, that is a pink woman. My plan is to show you that there is a lot of different ways that you can build maps in Roll20, but the process is actually a lot simpler than you might think. Also, here's my emotional support GG. Let me make him the proper size. There we go. So, I'm just gonna put some text down here so that you guys can see kind of what we're doing. So this is gonna be the blocking phase, and we're gonna have a, well, we'll just say downtown city street. So blocking is normally the first phase that I go to in, how do you make rivers? We'll actually get to that. I'm planning on putting a river in this street to demonstrate another thing, so I'll get to that. Blocking is the process of taking large chunks and images to, why is this repeating the same song? There we go. Taking large, like, blank images in order to create the general geometry of a map. It's usually used in game design for, like, putting in the gray textures. You've ever seen gray blocking? It's a very common thing, but essentially what you want to do in Roll20 is, since you only have 2 layers available to you, technically, only one that's really usable, which is the map layer, you want to build maps in a direction, so either from the back forward or from the front back. You don't really want to do anything in the middle of the depth, because Roll20 is very, very bad at actually handling depth. And you'll see that a lot of this is actually depth-based. So normally what I want to do in the blocking phase is just kind of figure out the shape of our map. So hey guys, what do you want our street to look like? Because I've got a lot of options here. I'm going to try and keep it to about 1 screen. A very simple map, but I want to be able to talk about a lot of stuff while doing it. So normally what I do is I lay out a bunch of just general structural blocks. In my mind, I'm thinking street with a fork in the road. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. So we can take this little asset here. Now, a lot of it is also collecting assets that you like. Roll20 has a built-in search function, which can help when it comes to actually making coherent stuff, but a lot of it you can also just find on Google or make yourself. And here, I'll just show you an example. Like, I made a streetlight asset because I wasn't really a fan of all the other ones, so here's my streetlight asset. And I can just pop that down. But I'm planning on, I'll give you guys this map after we make it. As far as the assets go, though, you're going to be kind of on your own, but there's a lot that you can just simply find on Roll20 or in like Google image search. So it's doable to find a lot of that. Also, I want to mention this is my first time using Jumpgate to build a map, and I'm not sure I like it. Roll20 updated how all the twisting works, and it's kind of clunky. Well, we'll deal with it. My muscle memory for send to back is not what it was. But this looks like a nice shape for a street, and since it was suggested that we have a river, let's just put some water in here. Why not? There we go. We can make it look prettier later, but if this is like the general vibes of the map, I think this is a good start. A bit in the middle as a pond. Well, it is a street, so that wouldn't make any sense. Let's see here, though. Alright, once you've gotten, like, blocking in, this obviously doesn't look like very much right now. And I'm sure you might be thinking, like, why would you want to make it look ugly? Well, a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff is what's going to actually make the map pop. And a lot of it's also in the post-processing segments. So you will see after I'm done with the blocking phase, we're going to pop this over into Clip Studio, and I'll show you how to make it all nice and pretty. But when you're making a map in Roll20, a good way to think about it is photo bashing. So, what do I mean by that? I'm going to use this river as an example. You could have it just straight. This might work for a city, but what if we don't like that? What if we want it to look better? what if we want a cool river? Well, a lot of the times what you can do is you can actually fudge shapes just by sort of stitching together assets as if they were, you know, the shape you generally want to. So what I normally would do is something like this. And there you go, that's a little bit more of a nice like curve to the river. Obviously, you're going to want to have some more space over here in an actual map, but I'm working in a small space so I don't overdo it. And then normally, I would like to add some foam onto the side of this, because a lot of the best parts in Roll20 can be done with shadows. So if you don't have one already, I recommend just making a square gradient like this, which can basically emulate depth. So how I'm going to do this is, this river is below the street, right? So I want it to look like it's below the street. So we're going to just manually put in the shadows here. And you can determine how hard you want the shadows. And don't worry about the janky edges. Because this is in the back, we can cover that up later. Being precise isn't actually super important. As far as basics go, remember that when you hold Alt and the arrow keys, you can do pixel movements. I don't know if you can see that, but it is moving very slightly. So if you need to line something up, that's very handy for that. Obviously, copy and paste is your friend. Please do not drag out every individual asset. You would drive me crazy. You drive yourself crazy. Oh yeah, the channels manually? Yep, it's a process. I think there's a lot that goes into making a map that isn't really seen. So I will do this. I might have wanted to do the foam first, now that I'm thinking about it, because we might want the foam to be shadowed. But that's okay. I'm also going to show you how to make a terraced, like, area, I think, in the city. So, for example, these... Now you can see it. It basically looks like there's a... there's a break in the world and the river drops down. But let's say we wanted to have, like, I don't know, an alleyway over here. Shadows are also really good for that. So let's say the alleyway breaks off to the side. And we're like, oh, maybe there's something creepy over there I can explore. Oh, the delay on the undo is gonna kill me. Yeah, and then ooh, we got a nice little alleyway. It's very easy to make assets that you don't have just by using a simple shadow block. So you might think like, oh, I don't know how to make like a wall. Well, do you have something you want the wall to look like? Let's say this block. We can set the color to like black. I can scroll it in like this, so you get a little bit of perspective. So you can see that as it comes up this way, this would be the bottom of the wall, this would be the top of the wall. And what you'd want to do is you'd want to pop a shadow on that to basically give the idea of like the further it goes up, the closer to the sky we're getting. So now this sort of creates an like a vision of, okay, I got one level, a second level, a wall, and then a third level. Which I can further accentuate just by putting something like this here. And being like, yes. And we want to drag these down one. This will give the impression that the street is a separate area too. And I think I'm going to also want to grab this down one. Okay, it still looks a little messy. I think we'll do this. Yeah. Yeah, that looks better. These are also pretty harsh fades, so you can have a soft fade if you really want. I also have a corner fade that I have just specifically for this sort of thing. And there we go. So now we've got basically a very simple alleyway and theoretically like a little walkway on top of this building up here. To further accentuate that, you might want to put like, I don't know, some railings on the side of the alleyway. Like, oh yeah, people can walk up here. Let's grab a door too. a lot of map making is making it livable. So you want to imagine, like, if you were an NPC living here, what would you want to do? Where do you want to go? So there we go. Now we got a door up there. Now it kind of looks like someone can walk up there. We could also, I guess I could flip this. Was it horizontal? No. Vertical. I don't know if that actually looks any better. I think I prefer this. The river is actually a crack in reality. Yeah, man. Well, so this is what I mean by layering. You really just want to cake on the layers pretty hard, because a lot of it is just giving that illusion of depth. Now, here I'm actually going to show you a mistake I made and how to rectify it, because you're not going to be perfect in map making, and I'm trying to talk, so of course I forgot to do this in the right order. But that's okay, it leads into something I want to talk about, which is, how do you fix a mistake? Let's say I want these, like, this looks stupid, right? I want this foam to be on the water, but the shadow is below it. So there's a real nice thing you can do, and it's very counterintuitive, but you'll see in a moment. It's about the undo button. So, okay, I got everything I want there, but the shadow's too low. Well, layer change operations. Oh, right, they changed it so right click cancels that. Hold on. I got a middle mouse now. Oh, and it's unselecting. Okay, jump gate's got some weird shit. You know what, I'll fucking deal with it. Normally that's a lot easier. But, layer operations. What the hell? I'm so terribly sorry. I'm not used to this. Normally that would work. Layer operations. There we go. Do not get undone with undo. So what you can do is you can actually go back in here. I can send all these to the front, hit undo, and it'll send the... Hello? Hello? Oh? Or they do? Jump gate, did you ruin one of the best things about layer design? Oh no. Well shit, hold on. I need to test this. If this doesn't work anymore, that's actually really bad. Oh no, that's really bad. Oh, that's really bad. Well, never mind, my cool tip doesn't work anymore. Oh, that's actually awful! Who decided this? Who did this? Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, so normally you could move those off to the side, send them to the front, undo to put them back in the perfect spot. Now you gotta be more... I guess I gotta waste time on this. Jump gate is very new and it kind of sucks. I'm gonna be real, there's a lot of good things about it. The only reason I'm using it is because it has better FPS for my friends to play the game. I fucking hate this update, it's terrible. A lot of the things that just changed are just, like... Let's be real. This nameplate looks terrible. Why would you mix flat colors with gradients? Don't do that. Graphic design is my passion moment. Okay, well, cool tip not working aside. So normally what I would do is, like, let's say I wanted this to be on top. I would put this here, move it here, bring it to the top, undo, and it would be on the top now. But I guess that was too good. We had it too good for too long. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I can move on to the next topic of discussion, which is a little thing called asset fudging. So what I mean is, I want a sidewalk. I want a sidewalk. I'm a greedy little goblin, and I want a sidewalk. But I can't have a sidewalk because that would be too nice. So we're gonna fudge one. As a company, it's important to make your product worse. Yeah, they're going that Bethesda route, or Valve route. Yeah. After years in development, it's worse. So, hey chat, help me decide something. What material do we want the sidewalk to be made out of? You can give me something stupid, I'll make it work. Wood? I can do wood. Yeah, let's use this. That's an awful texture. But you might like the, corrugated effect on there of all the rivulets on the wood, so what I'm gonna do is we can do a little tinting. Not like that. You can mess around with this tint, you can actually put in custom colors in it too. Make the sidewalk graffiti hell? I can also do that. And there we go. That's simple. You may not, you may be able to tell it's wood when you zoom in, but there's other things we can do. We could drag the texture and stretch it, and now it looks even less like wood. And when we get into the color grading segment, we can change the color of this even more. It's a little hard to change it exactly in Roll20, but hey look, it's not a bad sidewalk. It'll do. Bring to front. Okay, manually gotta drag it back. That is gonna make me so mad. Prepare for me being really mad about the manual dragging all stream. Oh. Granddad. Flintstones. Oh. Let's get this down here too. Okay, that's looking a lot better. So we'll assume that the river, the sidewalk kind of hugs the side of the river is my thought here. And now we do the funny thing, let's build a bridge. We could use this bridge asset, but that's cheating, so I'm going to show you how to actually make something from scratch. Oftentimes, if you want to make something look a little bit more, good, it looks like it got hit by a cataclysm, but people found beauty in it. Yeah, a lot of map making is, it looks like shit until it doesn't. It's also a lot of fiddling, and I'm talking really fast and probably making mistakes, but you know, gets the idea across. This is probably not exactly how I would do it if it was just me, but also it's important to have a design in mind before you go in, and I did not have a design in mind for this map. That's why you guys are here. Run, run. Me getting to the section of the city. Run, run. Actually, I'm gonna use this as more of a wall. That looks really nice. Is there something stopping me from using a prior version of Roll20 for map making and bringing it into this one? There is actually nothing stopping me from doing that. But I think most people are gonna end up using jump gate, so I'm gonna suffer through it, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to use it as I learn. Because I'm pretty sure going forward they're going to attempt to use jump gate. That's interesting. There's a corner on that. So don't be afraid to look up reference. I know what a bridge looks like. They normally have this grating on the side, but if you want some inspiration, look up a bridge. Hell, copy something from that bridge, bring it into your map, and use it as a texture. Why is it jumping like that? No, whatever. Okay? Do we see the vision, chat? Do you see the vision? You might be starting to see what I'm doing. It might be because I've done this so much that I already had this entirely planned out in my head, but we want to be able to see the water. So let's use this. That looks very nice. The last thing that I want to do is add some sort of transition between the road and the bridge. So I can use this. Stretch it out like that. Let's make a lighter one. And we do a little bit of this. There we go, I'll zoom in a little bit. I probably should also mention this, it's generally a good idea to keep your zoom at 100% when making a map. That's the zoom most players are going to use. I just have to be more careful to not accidentally deselect. There we go. Look at that, now there's a bridge. Yep, exactly. And like you just pointed out, it does give a little bit of the rural vibes that you would not get if I had just plunked down this pre-built asset. Like, this pre-built asset is great. I use this a lot. It's very nice if you're lazy. In fact, if you really like the way something looks, you can turn it into an asset for your own future use, but like, does that look good compared to this? Nah. So fuck it. And because of all that depth we set up earlier, you can see that the river really looks real under there. Because, well, we went through the trouble of setting it up. This is what I mean about layering. But now that we're this far, it would be a real bitch to go back there and do the river, especially without that trick that I was gonna show you guys, but doesn't work anymore. So, you know, it is what it is. Alright, let's bring these back to the front so that they appear on top of the grate. There we go. Very nice, very nice. And I'll just move the camera there, because we don't need to worry about what's off screen. Alright, bridge done. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of a separation for the river, because we want it to be clear that this river is kept off. And also, I'm going to... So the cutoff is here, so I'm not really worrying about things going over the cutoff, because I'm going to trim that in the final version. You could be more picky if you really want to. You don't have to, though. I'm cutting and sharing an art program for making map making with proper layers. There are a lot of them. I simply prefer to use Roll20 because it's how, I don't know, it's how my mind works. You could use a map tool that has really good layers. The best program for making maps in Roll20, though, is an image editor like Paint or fucking Clip Studio. If you want my real advice is just drag your assets into that and build it in there. It'll probably be easier. But I like being able to see exactly how it'll look in the game. And the auto grid helps me a lot with it. As you can see, I can just know for sure these will be aligned to the tokens. But yeah, now we're gonna go into detailing. Because we've got the blocking, and basically I've already kind of started detailing, but we know what the space looks like. We just kind of want to make it pretty now. So I'm gonna add in some streetlights, because of course those would be here. And I'm pretty sure I've got some traffic lights somewhere I can add into. That's starting to get the vibe. But yeah, the whole thing with approximating is you can take pretty much any asset and make it work, especially if you like the texture and you want to like stretch it. Here, I'm gonna get in there real close so I can get this. Here. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? Can't believe y'all made me use wood. Alright, put another grate right there. Bring to front. Frente, devant. I could say that, but I wouldn't. That looks suspicious as hell. No. We do it the good way. I'm not gonna be lazy. Alright. The other thing is, especially when designing towns, some level of symmetry is very nice. But when you're designing like wilderness, you would want to rotate a lot of objects kind of haphazardly. Like here, watch what happens if I just give a little bit of a twist on all of these lights. Maybe a little deviation in size. Suddenly the entire area has this feeling of like a part of town you don't really want to go to. But if I pop them back to just perfectly symmetrical and all that, it looks clean, it looks composed. A lot of it is just simply having an artistic eye for environment design. I'm not really sure how to teach that part of it per se, but I would say use your best judgment and do what looks pretty. I'm gonna put some more, not you, crosswalks. I don't think there would be one here because that's an alleyway, so yeah. Would there be one here? Would this look good? Nah, it's too much, too close. Looks like a garbage town with asymmetry. Alright, garbage town or pretty town actually? Let's just talk about that. It's outside, it's still part of a town I don't want to go to. Yo, me too, dude. Homebodies unite. This is downtown, vote for garbage town? Alright. Here is another asset. You know what? After stream, I can give you guys this and the fade assets, because these are, in my opinion, crucial. Having a drop shadow to just simply put on objects to give them a little bit more depth can do wonders. Like, look at the difference there. And also, a lot of this can be done in post-processing, so you don't have to do all of this in Roll20. I just like it doing it. Alright, let's add a little bit of jank. It's a garbage town. That means we can put some trash around too. Here, let's grab some rubble. These are some nice rubble assets that I loaded in. Let's say that whatever was here got blown up. Add a little character, add a little story in, you know? Let's say that this was once a storefront, but it's been completely, like, raided, because this is a shitty part of town. So, actually, I'm gonna grab some floor. Let's grab some bad concrete, maybe. Oh, yeah, that'll get the vibes across. And we'll say it goes to that edge of the map and keeps going off that way, but... And this is the other reason why I showed y'all how to do this. It's because we can use this to make it look like, oh hey, part of the wall is fucking broken. Wonder how that happened. And I think I could also get a railing in here. Let's see here. How many railing pipes will do? This will do. We want some separation here so it doesn't look like it was intended to be this way. It's too flat right now. I'm gonna grab some pipes. Just have them exposed. Like, what happened here? And let's maybe get a crack. There are a lot of decent assets like this that you can find, which just adds some natural wear and tear to everything. And I can also grab one of my favorites. If you search hole, you can come up with these. So there's a hole down here, and oh, look at that. Maybe you can see the rebar through it. Don't worry about the fact that it's wood. Pretend it's rebar. There you go. And now if we come down to here, there should be a good rubble wall. What if the shady alley was the good part of town? What if? Also, the other reason I'm not showing you guys my my assets is because I've got a lot of spoilers in there. This'll work. No, it won't. That's a fake image. What about you? Okay, you'll work. Separation between the outside to front, and then maybe a little bit here on this edge. Okay, that'll work. Make it look a little more fucked. I actually don't like that. Yeah, that looks better. How about you? Okay, okay. I feel like it's missing something. This might help. Yeah, that helps a little. I don't really like this rubble. Get a different rubble. Maybe like, yeah, this is a good one for this. There we go. Ah, this is the wall I was looking for. This guy. This is a lovely wall. Yeah. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We want to put it on the other side too. Not like that. There we go. Like right here. There we go. Another thing that you can do with these fades that I really recommend doing a lot is using them to demark the edge of a map. So since we're kind of done over here, I can just drag like that, and now it implies that the map continues in that direction, but you can't really see it. So if I scroll off, you see, ah, that's what we've created. We ignore what's up here. That's not really there. That being said though, I think I do want to actually move this up a little bit, because I think having this part would really help to sell it. So let's just extend it up a little bit. And I already got the river kind of going. Let's grab you. No, not like that. No, hello. Shadows are the MVP of map making? Yes, yes they are. anything that you want to do with terrain is just by using these funky little shadows. In fact, I'll show you another thing you can do with them. Let's say you want an area to be darker. Well, hey, your friend the drop shadow here. Oh, look at that. There's like a... This wall's above the river. Now it looks like it's above the river. Roll20 is going to nerf them in the next update. Roll20 always nerfs shadows. Let's be real. Shadow not dark enough for you? Just layer it. Just use 3 of them. What's the problem? No one said you can't. Do it. Now it looks like the bridge goes over top. In fact, to even sell it even further... Nope. Nope. There we go. Okay, that's a rare occasion where undoing that is helpful. Going to front. There we go. Okay, so we've got... Wait, one more. We got a little corner. It's pretty good corner, if I do say so myself. Let's work on the other stuff. So I'm thinking I'm gonna use a very simple trick called just putting something there. I'm sure you guys have seen these rooms. I use these a lot. They're very nice. A lot of good texture. And, oh, coming in with a steel chair. Who could it be but Drop Shadow? Drop Shadow there. And a Drop Shadow there. And to front. Well, we have a roof. That easy. Let's say I want a window. Guess what I'm going to use to make this window? I'll give you one guess. Yeah, that's right, it's a Drop Shadow. Hey, look at that. Window. Drop light? Nah. I'm saving those until I get the good assets. You'll know what I mean when we're there. Okay, this is getting the vibes across pretty nice. There's still something I could probably put in here. So, this is like really high up. We're gonna get rid of this light. I like the idea of using this again on the other side. So you can put this here. And I can put this here. Another just little tip to remember. When you're building a map in Roll20, don't do what I did here necessarily, because this is the origin point of the map. If you ever want to expand it, you can go to the right and you can go down, but you can't go to the left or up. So you're going to want to start on the bottom right of your map so you can always expand. I didn't do that here because I knew what size I wanted, and also I'm stupid and I forgot that tip. But I figured I should probably say that. Commercial stuff like posters. That's a good idea. I'm down. Let's grab a little brick wall. Put this right here. Let's say that this alleyway has a little bit of posters on it. What do you think Roll20's got for posters? If your answer was weird shit, you'd be right. Oh, that's the first thing that came up, guys. Yeah, sure. Don't look too closely at the posters. Don't look at the incest poster. It's not real. If you can, that's not gay sex. That's something else. Sure, that's got a lot of good texture. Ignorance is your best friend. When you can't see what's actually on the poster, it don't matter. Because this gives the vibe perfectly fine, and then we can put a little shimmy to them. And there you go. There's some posters. You can walk around here, you can see the posters. Thank you, Nightbot. Glad you believe in me. Let's artificially end this corner also with some dumpsters. You wanna go further? No, dumpster. No, don't open Odeste. Hey, hey! Hey! No. Go away, Odeste. There we go. And at this point, I could just kind of keep going forever. Really, there's nothing stopping me from continuing to decorate this map. But all things considered, there's another asset I drew myself, by the way, because there weren't any good trash cans. Darken that a little. Yeah. If you want to give some artificial depth too, you can always just put the black image on the bottom and the non-colored image on the top. There you go, looks like they're piled up. This looks good. I think this gets the idea across. I think if we were actually doing a full map that we wanted to use, we'd have some sort of way to access up here, so let's add some stairs real quick. Just to kind of finalize everything. Oh. There we go. That looks like a good enough spot for that, I'd say. And we can put a little railing on the side of said thing. And let's just grab the grate. Let's put grate. Put that grate up here. There you go. Now you can walk up there. I think this gets the idea across though. So I'm gonna put the last finishing touches on. Normally I will end a map by putting the top layer on, and in the case of a city, it's pretty simple. I normally just put some cables going overhead. Getting a good feeling that there's some energy being transferred between these buildings. A little thinner. Yeah, okay, that looks really good. Cool. So we've got our map. Now I'm going to show you the second phase of doing all of this, which is actually color grading and changing the map to be a little bit more of what we want it to be. So, you're going to want to have some sort of paint program. If you don't have one, I would recommend downloading paint.net. That's paint.net spelled out. But you can use things like Clip Studio, Photoshop. I'm going to be using Clip Studio. You just basically want something with layers and access to a little bit of color grading. You simply just press your print screen button. How long does it typically take you to make a map? 4 to 5 hours for a map, usually. Depends on how much I want to make it really unique. Alright, one last thing is, before I do this, let's make sure there's no spoilers. Print. Alright, cool. Let's pop this shit up. Where is it? I just set this up, I know it's here. There it is. Alright. So, there is my snip, and it's gonna give you a snip of all your screens. As you can see, I've got 3 screens open right now. And yeah, I went out of my way to hide shit so you guys can't see. Cause I'm not gonna spoil you. I swear. And you simply just separate, and we're gonna put this map together. By hand. Cause there are 2 reasons to do this. One, by mixing it down to a single image, you can improve Roll20's performance by a lot. And the other reason is that you can add color effects. So if I pop back to Roll20 here, I will just simply watch this right-hand side of the map. Right about here, on that square. We scroll over till that's on the left side. Hit the print screen again. Pop back into clip. Paste. Grab that. And we know we don't want any of this junk on the right, so we don't grab that. Lower the opacity. Go in. Line her up. There we go. And repeat by going down. So I'll go back over here, we'll go down, and we're gonna get the bridge. So what you'll find out is that a lot of the magic of map making really comes in these final steps here. It's kind of like making a painting where you layer and layer and layer, and you're like, why is this awful? Why do I hate this? And then you get to the final step and you realize, this is amazing, I love this. So, how about this? I'm gonna make this nighttime, because I think that's a good way to demonstrate a lot of lighting. Alright, chat, you're going on my top screen because we're done with Roll20 for a little bit. Duncan banned the word spoolers? Yeah, that sounds about right. So, once you got all your images, we're gonna merge them. We're going to crop the image to, say, right there. Right there. And boom. Okay, that's our map. Now, it's small, it's nothing super special, but you obviously can go above and beyond with a lot of stuff. This map is, like, perfect for a small city fight. Let's say you have someone fighting the streets, and you encounter them in the middle of the city. This will get the job done. But if I was going to take like a few hours to build a map on stream, I would probably build a lot more terrain into it. This is less about designing a battle map and more about just kind of the basics for how to get it done. So, you have your map. Great. At this point, you could just save it, upload it, and you could be done. You could skip this next step entirely. But let's say you want something really special. Let's say you want it to be nighttime. Well, we can do that. It's a little thing called layers. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is apply some sort of color correction layer. Now there are a lot of options that you could have, such as brightness contrast. You could use, there are gradient map layers, there are hue saturation. You might want to lower the saturation a little bit if it's dark. And already you can see we're kind of coming into this more murky territory than before. Here, I'll duplicate this, so put this on top so you guys can see the difference. Alright. It's already starting to look a little better. I'm going to probably want to push some of these shadows a little bit more though, so like, I want that to be a little darker. Kind of like that. And we want this alleyway to be a little darker. We want this corner to have a little bit of, well, fade like such. Alright. And let's get rid of that. I don't like how that looks. Alright. There we go. Now it's dark. And you might want to add some light too. So I would recommend throwing in another layer, setting it to glow or color dodge or something along those lines, and applying some colored lighting. So I'm going to want these lights to be on, so let's see what looks best. That's color dodge, that's glow dodge, that looks pretty good. Now let's add glow. Yeah, let's use glow dodge. Now we can mess around till the lights are on. And let's say one more thing. We want to add some color, but we don't like this purple that we've got here for all of it. So I can take a layer, choose hue or saturation or color in order to get different effects. And I can say this corner is orange now. If I set it to color, it'll be a little more extreme. I probably don't want it that extreme though. So let's keep it on hue. And now the water is this gross, like, murky color. I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to be there. And let's do what I said earlier. Let's make this a blue so it doesn't look like wood. There we go. Now it kind of looks a little bit closer to a, like, rough metal. And let's make our fire hydrants red. It's not perfect, hold on. Get in there. Alright. And let's say there's a little bit of dappled light coming on the water. Because I think that would be a nice effect. Oops, I don't want that. And maybe get a little bit like that. There we go. So it kinda is gonna look like there is light shining on the water from up above. That's my hope here with this. If one of these layers does not do the job, I will then just unsaturate that a little. There we go. Now it kind of looks like there is some light coming in from this direction over here and landing on the water, and you can see the water a little bit more. I'm gonna turn that off normal, but I would turn that on. Bam! And one more thing you might want to do is you might want to highlight specific areas where you can play. So I would take a brightness filter and potentially put it over the street just in order to give... Yes, which one of these should we use? That looks too colored. How about you? Hold on. None of this is futzing. There we go. Now that's very subtle, but what this does is it'll draw your player's eyes to the street, and it'll make them be like, well, that's where I need to walk, that's where I can walk. Highlighting areas of play and then darkening areas where there is no play is just kind of a nice psychology thing you can do to kind of help your players understand where they can go without actually, like, saying anything. Alright. So, again, Roll20. And with color grading. 99% of the vibes come in this last step. So, I've got one more thing that I want to show you guys, which is now that we're here, well, first, I'll show you another little thing I can do if we merge these together. And put this down to hard mix. We can filter that, we can add a blur onto that. I normally use a hard mix layer in order to give the nocturnum effect. So you might want to do that. As you can see, that adds brights are brighter, darks are darker. You don't have to, but it's nice. But ultimately, I like how this looks, so I'm gonna just save it. And we're gonna just call this map. And I'm gonna pop back over to Roll20. Because another important thing to remember is not to delete the original map. That may sound obvious, but yeah, you'll see why it's so important in a second here. So what I'm gonna want to do is open my thingy. We're just gonna simply duplicate the map. There we go, we got a backup. And since you don't need it necessarily, we can just archive that. There you go. Whenever I need to find it, if I need to grab those assets again or modify the map, it's there. But the reason I do that is because we're gonna be absolutely fucking destroying this. In a second here, let me make sure I don't accidentally open up a folder that's full of spoilers, eh? Map. Where did I put it? Is it in the rebel base? Yeah, it's in here. Map. There we go. Okay. So you can use the GM layer to properly line things up. I will take my funny map, as you can see, there it is. And we're gonna just simply, I need this a little brighter so I can see better. We're gonna just do the same thing. We're gonna use the alt click and drag in order to line this up properly. Normally you want to find something that's kind of square, drag it until you don't see that fuzzy thing, then repeat on the other side and just sort of do this until it looks properly lined up. Close. Real close. There you go. So what this does is this basically assures that your map is aligned to the grid. So you don't have to worry about scale. That's why we had GG earlier. Okay, now here's the big one, the scary one. Go to the map layer, Control A, select all. Hit delete. Move the map to the map layer. Huzzah! There we go. I can drop my dumb little pilgrim. He can walk around, and he snaps to the grid. Nice. Now there are a few other things you might want to do in post, such as adding doors and windows. Again, this is a functionality that Roll20 has, but you can just drop these in. I won't go into detail there. You can find tutorials on Roll20's actual website, but I would do that at this point. And then the very last thing you might want to do is you might want to add some weather. So if I pop back into my funny asset folder, we can drop down some rain. Acid rain. I'm not putting acid rain on. We're gonna put some fog on. Oh no, this seems like a good rain asset. Then you can have some animation. Have that sit on the map layer above everything and it doesn't get in the way of anything. And there we go. Rainy downtown streets. Thanks for popping in to watch this, everyone. I hope that helped. Now that we're at the end, I guess I can just take some generic questions that aren't about this specific map, but anything else you've been wondering while watching, if you need it. You set the color to swap back and forth to look like cop ambulance lights in the distance. Yeah, that would involve turning the map into a GIF, but you definitely could do that. Basically, you would have just a bunch of frames, you would upload them to some sort of GIF making service, and then upload the map as a GIF rather than a JPEG. Alright, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm gonna assume y'all are pretty satisfied. Oh, there we go. Theoretically, I make an urban area that colorful in every way, and it's also to stand the entire urban area. I mean, yeah, you could do that. Even if you're kidding, that's totally a thing that's within the wheelhouse of doable. So I hope that the tips and tricks that I showed you all today can help you guys make your own Roll20 maps of at least what you're imagining, and you've learned that, well, a lot of it can just be sort of fudged. You don't need to do anything really extravagant in order to make a map look nice. I'm probably going to actually pop this map into one of the games I'm running in the future, and those who have seen the stream, you'll know. Not a joke was very helpful. I'm glad. I'll probably do some more tutorials in the future, but this has been one I've been wanting to do for a while. And the VOD is going to be up on my VOD's channel, so I know that a lot of folks that had asked about it aren't actually able to make it to the stream today, so to those people, I will say, hope this helped. And to those that are here, thank you for supporting me in real time. Y'all are great. And I'm also going to post the map over in the break time server alongside the 2 drop shadows, because I think those will be helpful. I'll pop them in the random art chat. Where did I put my fade is the real question. You know what, I can just grab it from Roll20. I don't need to find the one that's on my... Oh, of course, as soon as I say that, it shows up. Alright. Map is over there if you want to download it and use it. It's free for your use. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know this isn't what I normally stream, but I have gotten more than enough requests to do this sort of thing, so I hope it was helpful. Alright. Bye, folks. See you next time. Probably gonna do some gaming next week. I don't know when, but I am trying to do these more often. And maybe I'll have a little surprise for you guys. Ooh. Ooh. Secret.